Hi, this is Esther with Discover Your Origins. This is a Research with Me video, and today we're going to work on Savilla Essary. At least I think that's how her name is pronounced. And I'm really curious about the name Savilla. I've not really heard of it before. It's an unusual name, I think. And so there's a site that I like to go to learn more about names and the history of names and how popular they've been. And so I'm going to jump over there first and look at that, and then we'll come back and do some work. You can see on the family search site here, we've got some duplicate children that need to be dealt with, and also some record hints on my ancestry tree. So I have lots to do on Sevilla, and I'm really curious to learn more about her. So first, let's go to this website. I found this site that's very similar to the one that I was at previously, Behind the Names, and I do like that site a lot. This one's names.org, and I have no idea how accurate it is, so we'll just take it for what it is. But Sevilla, according to this, is an Italian name, and it does have a meaning here. So some person from Pennsylvania suggested the name Sevilla means Sibyl, or variant of Sibyl, which means prophetess and has Greek origin. And another one from Ohio also agrees and says it is an American name, which is interesting because some of the users say it's also Italian. But it could be a variation of Sibyl. That would make sense. All right, how popular is it? So it looks like in 1917-ish, so 1916, it was pretty popular, and then it's kind of come back 1944. Our Sevilla was born about 1874, and so it was definitely a early use of that name. Here's some related spellings. And if you are doing research on somebody and you're just doing general searches in family search or ancestry, these name variations could be really useful. And so definitely pay attention to that. All right. All right, so that is what we can see here. For our first name, this is 516 uses since 1880. So it is, I would say, probably not a very common name. All right, so let's jump into working on Sevilla, and I am pronouncing it that way because her middle name is highlighted as Villa on Family Search. You can see it here. I've got quite a few things I need to look at on Family Search, but I almost want to start on Ancestry without knowing too much, just to see if the things that are on Family Search are correct. And that's often the way that I'll start. But I'm going to look up Family Search a little bit, and then I'll jump over to Ancestry. So just looking through here. Okay, so according to Family Search, she's married to Charles Jackson Smith. He's a bit older, 10 years older than her. And then, ooh, you can see the duplicates here. We've got Anna Lois twice, Charles Jack twice, Dolly Smith twice. So we will need to deal with those duplicates. She doesn't have 11 children. She has fewer than that, but we'll definitely take a look. And then this Reppy here, that's an unusual name as well. She's got 16 sources, so we'll definitely take a look at that. Hopefully the 1880 US Census is in here. Yes, okay, so we do know there's one. I'm going to jump over to Ancestry and we'll start going through record hints there and then come back to Family Search and do some corrections. So let's start here. I like to kind of scroll through first to see what we've got, and then we'll go from there. And you can see here that her name in the records definitely varies. So we've got Savilla, Veller, a couple of different places. Oh, we got a death location of Fayette. Okay, I think we might have to fix Family Search. And then she's living with a child maybe in 1940. So she would have been older. So that's 10 years before her death. Then she's with a child, Jack Smith, in 1930. Here she is in 1950. So she was counted. Looks like she might be living in Texas, though. So definitely want to take a look. Don't have the 1880 U.S. Census. I wonder if I already have it attached. Let's look. I do. Okay, so let's just review that really quick. All right, so here's Savilla, spelled Cyrilla. It's spelled with an R, Cyrilla. Here, the index. We'll need to take a look at the image to get a better look at that. But here's her parents. You see it's spelled Usury, which is another name that you see that's similar in the South. They are different families. Okay, so let's go take a look at her in the 1880 US Census. All right, there we go. Let's zoom in. Okay, yeah, you can see how that could be interpreted as a R, but knowing that it's Sevilla, it is possible that could be a V too. But when you're talking and speaking, and we know the South has a little bit of a twang, Savilla and Cyrilla are very phonetically similar. And so it could have been heard as Cyrilla by the enumerator, and that's how it was recorded. But uh, it's a good match. The parent names match. It is spelled usury with the U. So the way that you know it's the right family is by the other people and following them in the census and just making sure. Okay, we have a stepdaughter named Senna. I don't remember there being a stepdaughter. Mary? Okay, we'll need to just double check things here. And it says that she's born in Alabama. Okay, let's go back. It says that her mother is Mary. There's Senna. Huh. So I haven't worked that out yet as I've been going through these family members. Interesting. So in the family, there should be Barry, Sarah, Jonathan, Willie, Maddie, and there's a Senna, possibly Mary Adeline. I'm going to look at this one more time. Lee, Sally, Maddie. There's Willie, Jonathan. Family members match up for the most part. Mary, though, is different. So I'm not sure who Mary is. Let's go back. So there is definitely something amiss here. And so we'll need to take a look as we continue going through this family. This Senna here needs a closer look. And that would mean that Sarah could have had a name, first name of Mary. Well, for the moment, I'm going to continue working on Sevilla, but that definitely needs some looking at for sure. All right, I'm gonna go back over to Ancestry. Definitely some mysteries with the 1880 US Census and this family, and we definitely need to spend some more time. And as we go through each of the children, look to see if we have that parent-child link. And I think we've been doing that so far, and things are lining up. I mean, they're in the right location. The children show up all together, living in the same area. So it seems like it's right. Unfortunately, they're living in a time where we have the 1890 US Census, which would have been very useful. Unfortunately, it was mostly lost in a fire. So, all right. So I'm going to go through and look at each of these records and attach them. And I'm going to come back and we'll see what's next. Okay, so 1900 and 1910 census, just coming back here for a second, you can see that there were 3 children and 2 living. So there could be a missing child, and so we'll definitely want to take a look. Also, you'll notice that's living next door is Sarah Essary, who we worked on previously. So it seems likely that, we've got the right family, and Savilla and Sarah are sisters and they're living next door to each other. So, okay, just here for a second, looking at the 1910 US Census while I'm attaching it, you can see that she says that she had 7 children, 6 living. So there's definitely a missing child that was not on Family Search. So we'll add that. And it says here that she was been married for 15 years, so we can estimate her marriage date to be about 1895. So we'll definitely make sure that there's a marriage date, uh, approximate marriage date for her. So we're going to attach this record to the family and continue to build them. So stay tuned. Okay, so I'm back and I've gone through and attached all the record hints that I had on Ancestry, and some interesting things, have popped up. We do have that missing child that died before 1900, and I'm going to guess that that child was born about, um, I don't really know, but the child was born between 1895, approximate marriage date, uh, to 1900. So we'll do that. We do have to kind of override an ancestry. I'm not sure how they like to do that. Okay, and let's see, Reppy Smith was born 1895. So yeah, that child actually probably born after. So let's try that, 1896 to 1900. Okay. Um, Now on Family Search, I think at one point there was probably a duplicate Savilla that got merged together, and there were duplicate children. And so there are several children that need to be merged together. As we noted before, let's update the death date. I did find the correct death date with the death record on Ancestry, so let's update that. All right, so the next step here is we're going to go through the record sources in a minute, but I want to get rid of these duplicate children. And so that's going to take a minute. I'll walk you through the first one and then do the rest. We'll fast forward or skip ahead so that you're not having to watch it all of it. But we've got Anna Lois Smith and Anna Lois Smith. So I'm just going to hit the ID number here and it's going to copy, ID copied. And then I'm going to go into this one here. It probably will say there's a duplicate child. So I always copy the ID number just in case. And so it's got it. So let's go ahead and just review the merge. And I am using the new merge experience on Family Search. And if that's something that you're interested in using, it is available in the Family Search Labs. And so you do have to go turn it on if you're not seeing this. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and compare. The person on the left is the duplicate. The surviving person is on the middle here, and then the merged person is going to be on the far right. And so you can click the facts that you want to keep, and let's see. Yeah, there isn't much here to compare actually, because the one duplicate is actually just very basic. So I'm going to go ahead and hit merge, and this will say there was probably no significant inconsistencies. If there are some big differences, Family Search will want you to fill in a reason statement and then just hit submit, and the duplicates will then become one merged person, and that will be kept track of in the change log. So if you ever need to go back, you can see what happened. But there's Anna Lois Smith. She's together with her duplicate. So I'm going to keep going through here and we'll take care of the others and then we'll be right back. Okay, so the next step before we finish up on Savilla is to just review her sources and make sure we've got everything that we need. She does have 16 sources on Family Search. So, okay. This says her birthday was February 1900. We know that's not right, but it could be February 1876. This says she was born in 1870. There's definitely some variation. 1910 is 1876, 1879, 1871, 1874. Well, in this case, it's kind of a guess. Put in what you think looks right. Oh, there's a biography of her for Fangrave, so let's go take a look at that. Okay, her headstone says 1874. It says Miller. Interesting. Wife of Charles Jackson Smith. All right, and there's all of her siblings. Only one child. Okay. We'll just keep going. But 1874. That headstone looks like it would have been made in 1950. So, if you're working on this family or a person on Family Search and you see multiple birth years, you get to kind of choose what you want. And I think in this case, I am going to go with 1874, but I don't know for sure if that's 100% right. So, and I might put in about, because we don't have a exact date. Okay, let's see how that fits her into her family. It does seem to kind of fit chronologically with her siblings. Savilla, she does seem to fit in the timeline of the children being born. Willie and Maddie both being born in 1871 is a real thing. Willie was born in January. Maddie was born in November. So their poor mother was pregnant for 18 months. That's just, I'm sure that was a challenge. All right, let's just keep looking at the records here. I'm just going to click through to the sources. So we've got 1880, 1900, 1910, 1920, 1930. We don't have the 1940 or 1950 census attached to her on Family Search, so we'll need to go look for those and get those attached on Family Search. I do have them in Ancestry, so. Okay, then we've got some death records for some children that would establish parent-child relationships. All right, so we just need to go and get those. Let's see, there's a 1950, is there 19, we don't have the Alabama 1950 death record for her. And I think that death record collection goes through 1957. So let's just do a quick search to see if we can't find that. Do a summation of what we know about Savilla. I found it. All right. Here she is, Viller Smith, and it does give approximate birth year of 1873 in Fayette. And this number right here is probably a certificate number, and you might be able to even see the death certificate if you go to a Family Search Center. So we'll attach this to her person profile. And it's not finding, let's see, probably because the name doesn't match very well. There we go. Okay, there we go, 17 sources. And so we haven't quite filled out what her story is yet. We do know that Savilla is the daughter of Samuel Jackson Essary and Sarah Meigs, who was also known as Mary in the 1880 U.S. Census. That's still a little bit of a mystery to me because it doesn't line up with what we know from later records. But in any event, she was the the fifth child, and Savilla married Charles Jackson Smith about 1894, and they had 9 children. And I need to add that one other child that was mentioned in the census records to Family Search. And she had 4 girls and 4 boys, and another child that we don't know very much about. Charles Jackson Smith, we need to learn more about. He came from Ireland, so we definitely need to spend some time on him. So he may be the next person that we look at as we continue to figure out who Savilla was. And we at least know that she probably went by Villa or Viller as a nickname. And so that's interesting. This one had a little bit of work to do. We had someone with an unusual name, and we're still learning about her story. And so if you'd like to see more about the Essary family and their descendants, be sure to click subscribe and watch as I continue to discover more about this family and each of the descendants and their stories. I hope this was helpful. We'll see you next time.